So we've been talking a lot about CSS file. I shared with you the purpose and the benefits of having a separate style sheet. One second. Yes, so we discussed the benefits and the purposes of having a separate style sheet in our introductory session. But for those of you who've been not attending the previous sessions, I'll quickly give a recap. And before I move on to that, yesterday I got a feedback from one of you that sometimes you get lost. You can't really pinpoint where and which tag we are editing. It happens. It's normal because itna zyada code hota hai screen pe. So if you guys get doomed away like that from now on, please stop us there, and we'll be more than happy to repeat it. Firstly, to CSS में ऐसा होगा ही नहीं because it's generally less complicated, for the lack of a better word. But agar if it happens, so please write in the chat box or just unmute your mic and let us know. We really want these sessions to be introductive. So that's that. Moving on to our recap. Um, so CSS, which stands for your cascading style sheet, is basically a style sheet language used for describing the presentation of a document written in a markup language like HTML or other markup languages. It is designed to enable the separation of presentation and your contents, including your layout, your colors, your font size. And it's not that you can't add or change the styles in your HTML file. You can. Maya did show you in the previous sessions. But just having a separate file where your styles are defined just makes the whole process of making your web page presentable simpler. And it also allows you to add superior styles to your HTML because CSS has a much wider array of attributes than your HTML. So you can give a far better look to your HTML page in comparison to your HTML attributes. And if one wishes to make a change, simply you change it once in the style sheet and your all elements in all the web pages will be updated automatically. So it also just makes your maintenance easy, right? Basically, it gives you powerful over the presentation of an HTML document. And it's super easy to learn. Honestly, it's easier than your HTML. So let's move on to the basic syntax of your language. I will share the screen. One second. Yes. Can everyone see the screen? Okay, perfect. So this is your, here we need to choose either HTML or CSS. I'll go with CSS and create a new file. So this is your basic layout of your CSS file, right? Let's quickly first, one sec. This is your new file. So let's quickly first save it. I'll save it on desktop. I have this folder created, Cyber Allies, and let's save it with trial. Yes, here we go. Now you can see this trial name as the title of this document. I'll also be creating an HTML file because we need to, if whatever changes we make in the CSS file, we need to see them in your HTML, your HTML file. So I'll also quickly create your HTML file, new, your HTML. Let's give it the title Cyber Allies. And okay, so the right way of attaching your style sheet is through code. that Maya taught you yesterday, but since we're using Dreamweaver, let's make use of its features. We can attach the style sheet through this window. I'll just browse your style sheet that we just saved in our cyber this thing, trial one. Why is it giving this? 1 second, let me fix this. I'll try to share my screen again. Right. So here you have your HTML file. I will first make this vertical because I just like to see it that way. 1 second. View. Right. So now you have your HTML file also. I'll quickly save it in the same folder. Okay, so there's one thing to note here. You need to save your style, you need to have your style sheet and the HTML document saved in the same folder. I'll name it Cyber Allies. Right, now that we have both our documents saved, we'll quickly begin the basic syntax of your CSS. 1 second. Okay, after selecting your HTML element that you want to style, let's say we're targeting the body section, today we'll be defining the attributes of the background, your headings, and the paragraph. I will type out body and curly braces. Acha, so like for HTML, we use angle brackets. In CSS, curly braces are used to define something. And we'll quickly choose background color. Okay, so whenever you're working with colors in CSS, it's really important to add this hashtag symbol, like we say, that adds your color. Now, whatever color you select can be expressed in 3 different formats in your CSS: RGB, hexadecimal, and HSLA. So we'll use hexadecimal, which is 6 hexadecimal code. You can choose whatever color you want. Let's say for background, we're choosing red and a lighter shade of red, maybe this. Right. So it gives the code automatically. Um, Now, this is your basic declaration block that you give in CSS. Um, this whole thing is called as the declaration block and contains one or more declarations, and each declaration includes your one CSS property. This background color, for example, is your CSS property, and this value of the color that you're choosing is your value in the declaration block. A CSS declaration rule, it always ends with a semicolon. This thing. Once. Now this just tells your Dreamweaver that this declaration has ended and your property and your value is separated by a colon simply, and this declaration ends with a semicolon. And right. So in your CSS file, if you notice the templates, we'll be editing the templates later on, but if you notice them, they'll be given like this, in this format, right? So it means the same thing. Your declaration block is just wherever your braces end, that is where your declaration block ends. So having your declaration block like this, or the way I just showed you, it's the same thing. Now let's go to your HTML and see if the color has changed. You see, this means we have successfully linked the two files. Okay, now we'll style some text with H1, H2, and H3 tags. I'll first just type out something that we can edit. So these will be our three headings that we will be editing, and I'll quickly just add some paragraph. Right. Now we'll apply heading tags to our text by simply swapping P for your H1, H2, and this in your web, in your code section, we'll simply swap P with H1. Your second heading, date of birth, date of post with H2. Sorry. H3. And this paragraph is paragraph. That's great. Now I'm gonna hit enter and we'll start writing with. Let's move on to our CSS file, and we're gonna start styling H1. I'm gonna hit enter and we're going to write between these lines. I'll first choose the font family, which is basically your font type. So when I type out font, you'll see there Dreamweaver is displaying different options. So I can choose font family, there's a colon, and then you can choose, let's say, we'll go with this. Right. Typing this, once you're done with the declaration, you have to type this semicolon. It just tells Dreamweaver that we're done with this declaration and we can move on. Next, I'll change the color. Again, you're going to type out hashtag. that just tells Dreamweaver we have to choose a color. Let's say I'll choose blue, but a darker shade. Does anyone have any questions up till now? You can write in the chat box. Oh, we do have questions. What's the difference between the three? Right, the three formats of your colors, you mean? So RGB, if I put the same color, if I put it in RGB, it will give you this a red, green, blue. It's going to give the percentage that, let's say red is 21% and the green element in this color is 5%. In your hexadecimal, it gives you a code of 6 hexa. You say don't need to know at this point. We usually go with hexadecimal, and this last HSLA gives you the same code in percentages, but we usually go with hexadecimal. Then
Just
can you write down?
sorry to barge in, Izza. Acha, so like RGB and hexadecimal are the different syntax of writing the same code. So like RGB can the hexa can the you have 6 digits, and RGB can the, as Izza said, you have percentages. HSLA is like a more advanced version where hue like RGB or hexa can the you can only change hue, which is also known as color. Like in HSLA can the you can also change the saturation, lightness, alpha, etc. So like that is more advanced in the sense. Yeah, move on.
Right, so that's color. And the text transform, wait, see, if I didn't end this declaration with a semicolon, it just continued with that. So it's really important to add a semicolon in the end. Right, so next would be our text transform. Why isn't it? Let's make it uppercase because it's your first heading, and I'll end this with a semicolon. So if I write something new and apply H1 to it, let's, one second. If we go to our web page, you can see this post entries, which was which had H1 applied. It's changed now. Wait, it is actually not changed. Why? Because we didn't save this, and now we'll see the change, and we still don't. One second. Is it changed or not? Let's write something else and try with that. Yes, it is changed. ठीक है. Acha, let's move on to our H2 tag. After the curly braces, यहाँ पे press enter H2 and your curly braces. I'll hit enter a couple of times and write between these lines. First, I'm going to change the font and then choose the color. End it with a semicolon and then press enter, choose your color, hashtag, and let's keep this yellow. The next thing we want to do is align the text in center. So after ending this with a semicolon, I'll type out text alignment. We'll keep it center. Now, with that, your H2 tag is done. Let's see if there's some change. Yes, we can clearly see it's yellow and it's in the center. This means that our style sheet is working. Okay, now for H3, our H3, the word is attention. So let's give it some attention and we'll make it red. H3. I'll make the font family Arial. We do have a question. Wait, so what if we had two H1 tags in HTML, but we wanted to style both of them differently? Okay, good question. Then we can just use H2, your next heading for that, because we can only define one heading with the same style. So if, for instance, you want to choose another style for H1, you can just make it H2 and the font size can be increased. Does that answer your question? Oh. For font family, I'll choose Arial. And we'll make the color red. See, we didn't end this with a semicolon. It will not take it as a new declaration. So it's really important to end your previous declaration with a semicolon. Then we have color, hashtag, and we'll choose red for this. Right. Next, we'll go ahead and change the weight to bold. Font weight to bold. Okay, let's see the change. Right, so moving on to our paragraph tag. Font, after pressing enter a couple of times, you can choose the font family. Let's stick with Arial. The color, we'll choose medium gray. So enter, and we're going to put a margin. Oh, I have to end this with a semicolon, and then we'll put some margin, 1.5 m, let's say. EM is a unit we use for margins and padding. Padding is like a similar concept to your margins, but we use it for tables, and we will cover that tomorrow. But EM is equal to like 16 pixels. So yeah, we're done with our paragraph tag. Let's see the difference. Right. I'll check it out. Thanks. Now, in your following example, all your P elements will be in this one. They will be colored gray, margin 1.5, and they will be Arial. So yeah, we're done for today. Are there any questions? Yeah, so are there any questions? So today's task was defining attributes of your background, the headings, and the paragraph. Tomorrow we'll move on to cell padding and your tables and how to edit your lists and tables specifically. For today we are done. We can end the session if there are no questions. But I had a different style, different paragraphs in a different way. You just have to use different tags and change the font. Yes, if you want to use a different style for a different paragraph or a different phrase, whatever, you will use a new style. And yes, you can also change the font. I'll go in my CSS file, and for example, it's H2. We'll move after putting the semicolon, of course. We will change the font size. Let's say to 50 pixels. Control S, and now we'll see the difference. So yeah, you can increase the size too. I think Sarah wants to add anything. You can go on.
I was just gonna ask if you do have like we do have time, Abibi. So if you want, I can like make you understand a couple of things for HTML too. I haven't attended Kalwala session, so I don't know what you have covered. They can just like I'll try to add something to that if you want, or we can end the session. So like decide kar lo. Guys, do you want another like session for HTML? Yeah, should we end the session, Abhi?
I think then you can move on to HTML if you want.
All right. ठीक है. I'll share my screen फिर. एक मिनट को. Meanwhile, if you guys do have any questions related to Ajwala session or the sessions that we had previously, so you can like leave them in the chat below and we'll answer that. So yes, can you see my screen up?
Oh, yes, we can.
Acha, right. So like this is not Dreamweaver. This is another software called Visual Studio Basic. So like it does the same thing. If you want, I can move on to Dreamweaver. Be like, it is essentially the same thing. Should I like? Chalo, I'll open Dreamweaver. So yes. Yes. So can you guys see my screen up? Izza? Hello. Acha, all right. So yeah. So this was the basic code that might like told you guys कि यार ये सारा scene होता है. This is the code. So there are four essentially four types of meta tags. So like meta tags tell you about the data about the data. So like considering इसके अंदर char set is the character set or the set of values that your HTML will communicate to your computer. So there's another meta tag that is called the content tag. So yeah. So you write content here is equal to, and then you have three types of things here. So essentially, the first thing is that you can write a description. Description is something. Okay, for example, I write a description और उसके बाद मैं name लिख के I write this is my description और मैं इसके अंदर कोई भी लिख सकता हूँ कि this is a website about a game that I developed, and it will help Google के understand के what the website essentially is about. So for example, if you search Spotify or something like that, you will see के there's this thing there कि यार a free music software that will help you listen to music instantly. Okay, so that is the description that you'll get on the Google site when you search for Spotify. Then there's another thing. Is there any question? Achha, I'll move to the questions last में. Then there's another thing in content k is equal to.
There are no questions. They're telling you to go slow, थोड़ा सा.
अच्छा sorry, सही है. So अभी तक did you guys understood it? अच्छा Isa, I can't see the question like chat box अभी, तो if there are any questions just let me know. सही है.
Okay, sure.
So I'll save this as html.html that we have a file. अच्छा. So the next type of meta tag that we have is, यार sorry about that. Acha. So the next type of meta tag that we have is the keywords tag. So you just write meta content and then you write keywords here, and then you'll write name. Okay? So the content and name remains the same. You just change in the center wala word. So keywords essentially helps the Google to search. For example, I searched a thing called volume. कि यार volume के लिए मुझे कौन कौन सी website चाहिए. ठीक है. तो if you have keywords in your like HTML document stored कि यार ये volume के बारे में बता रहा है, और essentially ये volume, yeah, I can write volume comma, for example, chems or lgs. So anyone who will write lgs or chems or volume will be directed to my site कि यार search engines के अंदर ये आ जाएगा कि यार this is related site to. So this is essentially how Google helps define helps you find the sites that you want. ठीक है. अभी तक are there any questions? Yeah, so these are the 4 types of tag. Then you have a meta tag that helps you write the name of your author. For example, I've made a website and I want it to show कि यार सारम हसन ने ही बनाई है website. So I'll write author is equal to sorry, content is equal to, and then I'll write author here, and in the name I'll write my own name, Saram Hassan. So when I'll upload my site, it'll show in the developer tools, okay, this is a website made by Muhammad Saram Hassan or Saram Hassan or whatever name I write here. So yeah. And then there's, that's it. इसके लिए you don't essentially need to see the screen क्योंकि ये visible नहीं होगा considering it is in the head वाला tag. So in the head वाला tag, the only thing that is visible is the title. ठीक है. बाकी सारी चीजें are essentially visible at the back end. So if you go to Google and then you, for example, यार, can you guys see my screen? Hello.
No, we can't.
अच्छा. Can you guys up?
Yeah.
So I don't know why this is doing that. So for example, you go here and developer tools. Okay, so it will show you, yeah, this is the code behind the website that is made here. So yeah. So this is the HTML language. This is the head wala tag, and you have hundreds of things here. You get the backend ke upar meta name is equal to ye wala scene, or meta name is equal to MS applications title image. So you can just add that at the backend, and it will won't show on this screen. Lekin jo title hoga, for example, Samsung is written here. So the title hoga, that is the only thing that will be visible in the head tag. So yeah. So coming to the body tag. Achha. So as Maya told you, okay, there's this tag paragraph ke liye for which is P. So yeah, you can write anything. This is a paragraph, or CIs are great, something like that. So yeah, so you can essentially write things here. Lekin, so I'll save this, and this is the entitled document, and this is the heading, and this is essentially the body tag. So I can write here, I can make it italicized. For example, I write here CIE. Okay. So the document that I'll save now, and if I'll open it, So if I open this, this is called CI, okay? And then it is italicized. So yeah, instead of writing strong for bold, we can also write B for bold. So yeah, so essentially if I write here Saram and I'll save this and I'll refresh and then this is also bold. So strong and B for bold is essentially the same thing. And then you'll have underline and which will be U. So yeah, this and then we'll have this underline. So yeah, these are the basic things. Uske ilawa, I wanted to focus on the formatting of a page. Like since we don't have essentially have time itna zyada abhi, so I'll try to cover that baad mein. But for now, I'll see ke hum kar kya sakte hain iske alawa. So yeah, so then you have ordered and unordered lists. So yeah, ke unordered list ke andar if you write li, so I'll write li and then I write Saram or apple banana and then I'll have Kava here. And if I refresh, we have these. और फिर ordered list के अंदर if I change सिर्फ इसी को into O, then I'll have numbers वाला scene. So yeah, लेकिन you can also change कि यार वैसे तो माहिर ने बताया था कि you can only change कि यार अगर जब मैं इसको करूँगा तो they'll have 1 2 3. But you can also make it into a ABC, for example. So yeah, so if I write here type and then I'll क्योंकि अभी we have the default version which is 1 2 3, so it will show 1 here. If I write बड़ा वाला A here, so it will change into ABC. So yeah,
CSS में if you are defining it, it gives you the choice to add Roman numbers or normal numbers या alphabetically करना है. So
CSS
we'll do
is
that
essentially
tomorrow.
like uh, so this isn't working. It's not क्यों कर रहा better here. I don't know what is the problem here. Like it should essentially work. एक minute, if I open this, let's see if here. So yeah, so देखो उस इधर it isn't working here. इधर 1 2 3 आ रहा है लेकिन इधर ABC आ गया. So yeah, so if I type a बड़ा A here, so it will make it into ABC. ठीक है? So this is the capital version. So essentially you can change this into 3 types of uh, the list that you want. So yeah, and then should we move on abhi? Should we? Is that? Yeah, it's just fine.
Yeah, we do have time.
अच्छा सही है. अच्छा. So the next thing that I want to tell you is ke the subscript of the superscript tag. So consider you want to write H2O. सही है? So I want to write H2O.
Saru, we
लेकिन
cannot see your screen.
यार एक मिनट का ये क्या मसला हो रहा है? Can you guys अब?
हाँ, it's perfect now.
अच्छा. So I'll write a paragraph. तो ये paragraph नहीं है. सही है? So if I want to write H2O, सही है? So if I press Control S and I go here, so I'll only find इस तरह का. लेकिन I want the two in the subscript. ठीक है? नीचे हो जैसे H2O आप वैसे लिखते हो. So what I'll do is I'll write sub and I'll write 2 in between. So yeah, so I'll essentially have H2 uh, here. So yeah, can you guys see this? So yeah, so this helps you do that. और अगर आपने समझो 3.84 into स्टैंडर्ड फॉर्म में लिखना है, तो 3.84 into 10 की पावर 4, सही है। लेकिन अगर आप ऐसे लिखते हो तो you won't have that, you'll only have इस तरह की लाइन and then you'll have, लेकिन मुझे चाहिए कि यार 4 पावर के अंदर हो, ठीक है। तो what I'll do is I'll write super or sub for short, सही है, and I'll write 4 in between, and then when I see this, so this goes up. I'll write a break tag here ताकि you can see सही तरह से, सही है। So these are essentially दो तीन चीजें that you can do with HTML. You can do a lot of these in JavaScript and CSS essentially, लेकिन basics for HTML के अंदर you can do a couple of more things. So for example, जैसे CSS के अंदर you had body tag के अंदर style वगैरह. So like if I write BG color इधर, जैसे you have couple of things here, लेकिन अगर मैं background लिखता हूँ and then I write, sorry, style is equal to background, and then I write a color here. So for example, blue. पूरे body tag के अंदर I'll have blue here, सही है। ये मसला आ रहा होगा, अच्छा this isn't working, I don't know why, लेकिन इस तरह की चीजें you can do in CSS. Sorry, my laptop isn't working सही तरह अभी से, so I'll change it up here. I'll do the rest of the things in the next session. Sorry about this. ये screen sharing 2 मिनट बाद stop हो जाती है। So that is, I think, it. If you guys have any other questions, नहीं तो I'll just end the session here.
Seeing there are no questions, we will end this session. And your next session is on Wednesday, same timings, and we'll cover the rest of CSS.
Sorry again for the screen sharing वाली problem, guys. Really don't know what happened there. लेकिन चलो, I'll make sure अगली दफा ना हो।